Today on episode 249 of Typical Chicago Fans, we have Sinkers and Floaters, the TCF Sports Minute, our College Hoops Corner, new team builder, Super Bowl recap, and the TCF top 3 of Chicago uniforms. Let's roll. Hello and welcome back to Typical Chicago Fans, brought to you by our incredible sponsor, Connect Roasters Coffee. Today is episode 249. Make sure to check us out on X at typical_Chicago, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok as well. Make sure you're following on the TikTok. I'm posting videos every day on Chicago sports history. It's just Typical Chicago Fan. Make sure you check us out there. Like I said, Facebook and Instagram, give those pages a like. Go on over to YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube page there. Just type in Typical Chicago Fans. Hit the red subscribe button. Wherever you get your podcast, we are there as well. So subscribe, rate, review, 5 stars, whatever you do when you get your podcast. We are there. You can find me on X at BoomyTCF. And, of course, the man that I'm joined with tonight is Zach at ZAlilia_TCF. Zach, we are sitting here recording late on Tuesday night, expecting a snowstorm here. No work tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm hoping it doesn't, because it's always funny when there's an expected snowstorm and it never happens. But it just seems like we're not used to any snow. So it's like supposed to be like 4 to 5 inches of snow. And
yeah, basically I've seen everything from like 1 inch to a foot of snow.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'm excited though. We'll get into it with my floater, but pushing snow isn't bad.
The snow I can live with. I've said this forever. The snow I can live with. The polar vortex 4 or 5 years ago, where it was like -20. That makes me want to move to Southern California.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be super cold, but it'll be cold enough to snow. So I don't like the cold, but if it snows a little bit, at least we can say it snowed this year. I mean, it hasn't snowed much in the last few years. True. Last year we had some snow, but hey, we got to get the plows to work sometime.
That is very fair. Very fair. Let's jump into our sinkers and floaters. My sinker this week is waiting. And the reason is because the Cubs reported to spring training, pitchers and catchers reported on Sunday, and you get all excited for pitchers and catchers to report, and then it feels like we just sit around and wait. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to wait. I think it's like the 20th or something like that until the first game starts.
Yep.
And then it goes from there all the way to the Japan series, which will be fun. But yeah, you get like all pumped up to, we got baseball going on, and there's not much really until the games start. But it is fun to know that they're getting ready, and it seems like most of the team is there.
And it always feels like there's never I don't know exactly how to say this, but there's rarely like positive news when you're in this waiting period. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, this guy has an oblique strain and this guy's got a little tightness in his arm. It's like, outside of signing a free agent, which hopefully we'll get to that here in a minute, there's not a ton of like positive news during this waiting period.
Yeah, it's usually just they're throwing the ball, or there's a few random injuries here and there, but it's really just waiting. But this year, there are a lot of players who have not signed yet. So it's still exciting to see who's going to sign. But at this point, you don't really know if the Cubs will have a new third baseman or if they'll be going with Matt Shaw. So it's still exciting to wait for that. But I still think that they should have all this done before spring training starts. That's just how baseball does it. And I think it's kind of stupid.
Completely agree. What's your sinker this week?
Sports. We are at a spot in sports where it's like hockey, which is not even hockey right now. It's the Four Nations. Then there's basketball, which if you're a Chicago Bulls fan, we'll get into that. You don't want to watch that. And that's pretty much it. So there's not really much going on right now until baseball gets going here. And even when baseball gets going, it's such a long season that's hard to get into it right away. So without football ended on Sunday with the Super Bowl. It's kind of that time of the – there's also college basketball. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say – I was going to correct you because this is my favorite time of the year. I obviously love football, but I've said it a million times. I'm football's like my third favorite sport. So when it's done, I am full. I've been kind of dipping my toe back in. I didn't watch as much college basketball in November and December as I normally do. I've really been ramping it up. Me and my son watched Southern Illinois, Edwardsville, and Tennessee State or Tennessee Tech. Watched the entire game the other night. So I'm in that full swing of college hoops.
Yeah, next thing you know, we'll have conference tournaments, which will be fun, but it's just kind of a slow time of year for sports when you're waiting for baseball to start, and you get so like pumped up with like the bowl games and playoffs and stuff like that in football that it's just like, man, there's not much to watch. And then, like I said, with the four nations, I don't really understand that much,
Yeah,
but it kind
no
of takes
clue.
away from the hockey season. So I don't know. Maybe if you do like I said, basketball, you will be happy, but there's just certain nights that there won't be much on.
That is true. At least there's not as much variety as there was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
My floater this week is snowbirds, and for those of you that don't know, those are the older people that travel south in the winter, and that is because my dad is currently on his way to Cub spring training in Arizona. He wasn't supposed to leave until next week. Saw this storm coming and bolted yesterday morning. So he is
Can't
in
blame
his
him.
fifth wheel. What'd you say?
Can't blame him at all.
Yeah, dude, I want to be mad at him so bad, but like, it's just getting me in that like space where he does he always sends pictures on like the worst possible days up here in North Central Illinois, and it's like 80 degrees and perfect, and um, so yeah, him and his RV are en route to sunny Arizona.
I think the 21st is the first Cubs spring training home game.
Yep,
So
and he will
that's
be
where
there.
your dad will be. But yeah,
I
it's got
told
to be
him
awesome to be able to do that.
do 100%. One year, me and the boy will fly down there and meet him and go hang out and go watch spring training. But when he's old enough to appreciate it, at least.
Yeah, and finding time this time of year for you is not easy to do.
Yep. Yep, exactly. So, no, he's going to enjoy it. I told him he should go down there and, schmooze the right people and just hop on that team flight to Japan and go hang out for a couple weeks.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Right.
My
Wishful
floater
thinking.
is, like I said, pushing snow. Some
Yeah.
people have make a living pushing snow, and hopefully that they'll be able to work here in the next few days, or at least the plows will be able to get out and stuff. Or you get to go out and push a little snow. It kind of it helps a little bit, maybe with the
It's a
workout and
workout,
stuff like
man.
that. Yeah, it's a free workout, and you also get to clean your driveway or whatever. But I think you got to at least a few times a year have to push some snow.
Yes, it like you said, it's one of those things where it's almost like a necessary evil, but at the same time, it's not that bad. Like, don't go out and overdo it. Like the
You
amount of
gotta
people that
wait
like
wait
give,
till the snow's done.
yeah,
Don't go out and overdo it. But they've got more snow down south than we have here.
yeah,
So we know we live up here for a reason. You gotta go through it.
you're not wrong. Let's jump into the TCF Sports Minute. We're going to start probably as close to the bottom as we can. The Blackhawks 17, 31, and 7. They are currently at 41 points, second worst in the NHL. They're 4 points ahead of Nashville, who is just god awful. But really positive. Connor Bedard has been playing much better here as of late, and kind of getting in the national spotlight, going back and forth with Biz. I like seeing the Chicago guys in the mainstream media. So
I like what Biz did. I mean,
yep,
I'm so tired of we got to whatever with Connor Bedard. He wasn't playing well, and now he's
yep,
playing well because maybe he got a little push or whatever.
yep. A
You,
little fire under his butt.
everyone is susceptible to criticism, and
Absolutely.
the way he was playing at the beginning of the year, he definitely deserved it. And sometimes
Yep,
he's out there and it definitely looks like he deserves some of the criticism of it looks like maybe he's being a little, I wouldn't say lazy, but not doing what he's supposed to be doing. And
yep. I agree.
maybe this getting mad is what he needed. And he's been playing really well. I think he's scored points in like 20 20 points in like 20 games or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was 21 points in 22 games, or vice versa, which is what you want to see out of your second year guy, right? He he's the most prominent player on a team in one of the largest markets in the NHL. He's going to get criticism, and that's okay. I also don't hate what the Blackhawks posted on social media. Like that's the kind of stuff that hockey needs. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But you know what?
Like
We know what we need? Some help for Connor Bedard. The
we need
Blackhawks,
a rare book. This team stinks, dude.
this organization, we got lucky with Connor Bedard because we got the number 1 pick. And we've done really nothing with it the last 2 years. Yes, I know it's only been 2 years, but this is a team that won 3 championships in 5 years and stuff like that. And now we can't even put a team around one of the best players in the league.
Yep. It's
At some
frustrating.
point,
They'll be
you're
in
gonna look
the
back and go, man, maybe we might have wasted a few years of a really good player. I know he's young and he'll be on the Blackhawks hopefully for a long time, but you can't
It's
just
not
hope for
guaranteed.
that. You never know that.
And nothing's guaranteed in professional sports. Speaking of nothing guaranteed, the Bulls 22-32. I don't believe we have spoke since the trade deadline.
Yeah. We traded one player, Zach LaVine, and
Got our own first round pick back.
got our own first pick back and 3 players who really and truthfully probably helped the team in a way. But tonight they go they're in Chicago and maybe play one of the worst games of all time against the Pistons. At one point was down like 70-25 or something like that. They were shooting 20% from the field. And I mean, I know the All-Star break is coming up. They play back-to-back. They play another one Wednesday. I just don't – this team has to either lose all the games or figure it out because we can't keep winning and losing every other game.
The problem is, Zach, obviously LaVine is traded and it's kind of it at the trade deadline. Apparently no one wanted to give up anything for Vooch, and it seemed like it was possibly going to be Golden State until they were able to get Jimmy Butler. But it is what it is. Me, and we've had this argument many times. I think Arturas Karnisovas is a good GM. I think he's handcuffed a little bit by Jerry, but I'm even starting to look around a little bit and say, maybe is this not the guy? Because you traded Zach LaVine, who averages 25 a night, for 3 guys that maybe average 28 a night, and you only got your own first round pick back, and I think they gave up a second rounder. So,
and I've heard that there was multiple trades for Kobe White. I just don't understand what the plan is. As of right now, we're stuck. We're not getting better. We're not getting worse. We're just going to be stuck at the 9-10 seed and not be in the lottery and just suck.
Well, and also at this point, like they're almost too good to truly bottom out, because the Washington Wizards are arguably one of the worst teams of all time. They're like 9-50 something.
Yeah, and
then I think the Bulls are like the 7th worst record in the NBA right now. So they're not like I've said this term a million times: basketball purgatory.
Yeah, I don't really understand what they're going to do. They're going to maybe make the play-in tournament, and if you for some reason get in, you're going to get beat by whoever's 1 or 2. I mean, it's just
best. Even if you get through the playoff tournament, you got to go play Cleveland, who's on fire. Or Boston. What does it matter?
Heavy, it's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's just like you said, it's the same discussion we seem to have every year. So hopefully they burn it all down this summer, and something else can happen. So
the bad thing is, move in. They really have to bottom out just to get in the lottery.
Yeah, well, I think they have like the 7th worst record right now, so they'll at least be in the.
If they make the playoffs, you don't make it in the lottery, do you?
Oh yeah, that's true. I don't know. I was looking at a mock draft and they had them drafting like 9th or 10th.
Which is even crazier, because then that wouldn't even have mattered of getting the pick back, because they would have gotten it back either way.
Well, no, because it also
it was top 10 protected.
Yeah, but also remember, like 20 teams technically make the play-in. So,
but what I mean is, if if that, let's say they make the 8th or 9th seed, they just traded for the pick that they would have gotten either way.
Yeah, yeah. This organization's so stupid.
It makes no
We're so
sense.
stuck. We'll go into the Cubs next. Like we said at the top of the show, the Cubs reported for pitchers and catchers. I believe the rest of the team reports on Friday. And as far as like roster completion goes, it almost feels like everything's set now, right? Bregman gets signed tonight, heading to Boston. Kind of got my hopes up for that one. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's now Matt Shaw's. It's funny that this happened on Wednesday. I was scrolling through TikTok today and saw some videos of Matt Shaw taking ground balls. And the kid gets his shot now. And I don't know. Do you think it's a deal that the Cubs should have made? I'm okay with him not making it.
Well, Bregman got what he wanted. He got the opt out after this year and next year. So I mean, he's gonna get a long-term contract at some point. I think that's what he
Maybe
wants.
though, he's already 30.
But that's what he's looking for. That's why
Yep.
he wanted a deal like this. I don't know if the Cubs just lost out on it or if they didn't give enough money. Because what is it? It's 3 years, 120 million. Yeah, and at this point now, it's not like the Cubs didn't have an answer to it. They knew
Right.
that they're going to go with Matt Shaw. They were going to give him a chance in spring training. And at this point now, you look at Matt Shaw as the third baseman, and you kind of just move on.
Yeah, I think Council had even had said it earlier in the week when they were talking to the media, and that Matt Shaw is going to get the first crack, and obviously he doesn't want to tip, that we're trying to get Bregman or whatever the case may be. But he said it. Shaw's going to get his shot, and if that means not spending $40 million on a third baseman, I'm okay with that. I mean, obviously, I hate that the Cubs are coming off as penny pinchers all the time, but I don't really know that I feel like sad or angry that the Cubs didn't get Bregman because of the backup plan. You know what I mean? Like Shaw's been incredible in his time in the minors, and obviously I don't think he's going to produce the way that Alex Bregman produces, but at the same time I don't feel like there's like this enormous step down from Bregman to giving Shaw a chance at least.
No, we're not going into an unknown. We don't have to think who's going to be the third baseman. We already know who's going to be the third baseman now, and you move on.
And he's just like, hey, rookie, go out there and, show us what you got and show us what, you've been showing in the minors for these last, whatever it is, 2.5, 3 years. And he's produced. He was a first round draft pick for a reason, so go out there and prove it and, kind of just move on from there.
And luckily it happened early in spring training before games started, so they can get going on him being the third baseman and not wondering throughout the next few weeks who's going to be the third baseman and stuff like that. So at this point, you just kind of be happy that it happened quickly instead of taking a while.
Right. It wasn't the Kimbrel deal that got done midway through spring training, and then you're having to, make changes and adjustments as spring training goes on. So, you always want your team to sign an all-star caliber, World Series winner, but I also don't feel like this is the end of the world or like the Cubs season hinged on Alex Bregman playing third base for the Cubs.
No, they're still going to be favorites to win the division, and they made a lot of moves throughout the offseason that are going to help the Cubs. So, yeah, I mean, it sucks in a way because you were thinking that he was going to be with the Cubs, but you have other options.
Right. And also like not spending that 40 million also might put you in a spot to make some different moves, at the trade deadline or as the year goes on, or, you don't know what it's going to open you up for, once the season gets rolling and you realize, hey, by the way, we need a fifth starter, because of whatever. We need to find another starter because this guy got hurt, or reliever because this guy is getting shelled, or this, infielder, outfielder got hurt. It does give you a little more wiggle room as far as the moves you can make, trades, free agency, all that good stuff. So it's not the end of the world. Still really confident about the Cubbies.
I've seen Javier Assad has an oblique, a sore oblique. I don't think there's much to it, but you don't want to see that. And Shota is going to pitch in the Japan series, which was most likely going to happen anyway. So That'll be fun. Except you got to get up at like
Absolutely.
4 a.m. to watch it.
Oh, I'll be there.
He did have a
I miss.
funny comment he made. They asked him if he's going to show people around Japan. And he goes, no, it's going to be like when I got here and I had no idea what I was doing.
He'll just let him figure it out.
He's very funny.
He is a funny guy. And shout out, he was wearing a local pipe fitters union hoodie, I think, when he showed up to spring training. You got to love that.
Yeah, I wonder where he gets that from.
I love it. I can't remember. I think it was pipe fitters, but I might be wrong. One of the local Chicago union hoodies. That was awesome. Not much to talk about here on the White Sox. They report this weekend. I will say this. They have arguably one of the best arms in minor league baseball, a kid who played in Peru 15 minutes from us with the Illinois Valley Pistol Shrimp, Noah Schultz. I don't think he's going to get a shot at the opening day roster, but it's kind of one of those stories I'm very, very interested in following.
Why
As
wouldn't you?
the Sox.
What's the point of not doing that?
Well, you don't want to destroy a 20-year-old's
if he's not
confidence
ready,
by bringing him up and
he's
letting him get
ready,
shelled.
if you think he's ready, then this is the right situation to put him in.
Yep.
But
I
if
agree.
you really think about it, I mean, you hope it can't get worse than last year.
I was going to say that it's going to be hard to be worse, but they have shown absolutely nothing as to why I think it's going to get a lot better.
Yeah, and you'll see. I mean, will Robert make it through the whole season with the White Sox?
No
I mean,
chance.
Will he make it to the first game? I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. You would have thought they would have traded him in the offseason.
Did I see Moncada signed with somebody?
Yeah. I can't remember who, but what a I guess failure that was.
Yeah, big time. I'm looking it up here. Angels.
Yeah, he was supposed to be like one of the best players in baseball at some point.
He's gonna try to be taking Rendon's job, who's played like.
Well, he's slated to play over Rendon, which that is one of the worst failures.
That's one of the worst signings.
Have you seen the funny stat that
Ted Williams played more at their throw too?
Who went to war in the middle of baseball, has played more games than Rendon has in his. Well, it was like one of the first mega contracts that there was.
Yeah, that was horrible. But you know what's not horrible, Zach?
What?
Connect Roasters coffee. All right, guys. I promise you, it's the best coffee that you are going to find. They have it in the Cubs clubhouse. Ian Happ drinks it. Guy wins Gold Gloves all the time. Okay, it's good quality stuff. I promise you that. Best coffee around that you are going to find. If it's good enough for Ian Happ, and it's good enough for you, so make sure you check out their website, connectroasters.com. Hit them up on X at Connect Roasters, or visit the storefront in Bourbonnais. Shout out Connect Roasters. So make sure you pick up some coffee from our friends over in Bourbonnais. Let's jump into some college hoops, Zach. We have had some crazy weekends in college hoops, man. Number one, Auburn goes down to Florida. Duke loses to Clemson. Alabama barely holds on to Arkansas. I could go down the entire list here. Illinois with a huge win. They're really about the only team to talk about here in the state of Illinois. They beat Minnesota 95-74. Michigan holds on to beat Indiana. I mean, if you were one of the people that complained about the lack of parity in college basketball before the NIL experience, I guess we can call it, you're very wrong now, because it is a thing of beauty.
Yeah, it's really helped a lot of these schools that maybe wouldn't have had a chance to get some of these kids at some point, but you can say whatever you want. It's made college basketball more fun to watch.
I agree. And even it is kind of funny. I'm looking here. Kansas State took down Kansas, right? And you have Hunter Dickinson, who feels like he's my age.
Yeah.
He has been in college hoops forever. They lose to Kansas State, who was supposed to be so good and gave Coleman Hawkins, the old Illinois power forward, this fat NIL deal. And their big win, huge win against Kansas. They're 12-11 and probably not going to make the tournament.
Yeah, and it helps like players who thought maybe they were going to go to the league. Keeps them around a little bit longer because they're still making money.
I think there's a lot of positivity in that people don't talk about. Like, yeah, it sucks to see Hunter Dickinson for 6 years, but at least there's like familiar faces and there's villains sometimes, right?
Yeah,
And
and
I
people
feel like
always say that they want it's always a one and done suck and stuff like this. It's like, well, now you're not going to get that as much. You're still
exactly.
definitely going to get players like that. Like Cooper Flagg's probably going to go out next year and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But guys who are maybe like middle first round, late round, first round picks, they're going to stay because there's more money in the NIL than there is going to the league.
exactly. And even looking here, a team that was touted as the greatest recruiting class of last year, Rutgers, they pick up Ace Bailey, and the kid from Peoria Richwoods, can't remember his name, Lathan Somerville, and they're 12-12 and probably not going to the tournament. You know what I mean? So there's a lot more, I feel, coaching means a lot more in this day and age where it's, a lot of guys shuffling around. And just because you have a good recruiting class doesn't necessarily mean that you're guaranteed to go to the NCAA tournament. And you're seeing that. And not even recruiting class, like high schoolers, you're talking about your transfers and, you're seeing it. I think the SEC is dominating college basketball, but then you look at it and there's still some other really big, good schools. I mean, Florida, obviously being a Florida fan, but the SEC has 4 of the top 5 schools in the country.
Yeah, and like a school like North Carolina has one of the best point guards in the college basketball, but are not good.
Yeah. I mean, Ace Bailey at Rutgers, I watched this weekend, is a phenomenal basketball player and is going to be a top 10 at worst pick, and they're probably not going to the tournament.
When you see like
It's
the Big Ten is there's not like a dominant team there.
yeah. The highest ranked Big Ten team is Purdue at 7.
Do they win tonight?
That is a great question that I don't know the answer to. They lost by 2 to Michigan.
Yeah, I knew that was a game where they weren't even favored. They were on the road at Michigan, ranked higher and not favored.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. I would sit here and talk about all the Illinois teams, but there's really only Illinois and Bradley to talk about.
Well,
So
you need teams like NIU and stuff like that too. I wouldn't say. I mean, I guess they can't do much with the NIL, but still, there's money at NIU.
yes, it's frustrating.
Yeah,
But it is what it is. I'm very much looking forward to conference tournament season because
I think it's going to be one of the best March Madnesses of all time.
I agree. I thought last year's was incredible, and I think this year's has a chance to be just as good, if not better.
For people who love to fill out the bracket, I think it's going to be one of those years where it's going to be a crazy bracket.
Well, excuse me. We will certainly be doing the TCF bracket challenge, so make sure you stay tuned for that. I'm going to get that set up.
It'll be all 1 seeds.
Yeah, exactly. We talk about all the parity and all that. We'll see that year where it's all 1
We
seed.
talk about men's basketball a lot, but even women's basketball, there's a lot more like higher ranked teams getting beat.
Yes. Oh, that's true too. Yeah, there's South Carolina is definitely dominant, but there's definitely some parity there.
It's not like back when UConn was winning every game and they were undefeated
35-0.
That's also fun to watch.
Absolutely. I am very, very excited for the NCAA tournament, but I'm also very excited about this new team builder. And Zach's going to flash it up on the screen, and we are going to build the perfect Cubs pitching staff. Okay, so we got a loaded one here, obviously, with spring training right around. We have in the $5 row Fergie Jenkins, Greg Maddox, Rick Sutcliffe, Jake Arrieta, and Lee Smith. $4 row John Lester, Kerry Wood, Charlie Root, Kyle Hendricks, Bruce Suter, $3 row, Carlos Zambrano, Justin Steele, Yu Darvish, Raldis Chapman, and Shota Imanaga. The $2 row is Ryan Dempster, Mark Pryor, and I am not sure, Ken Holtzman. Sorry, I thought it was Keith Holtzman. Vaughn and Carlos Marmol. And then in the $1 row, Grover Alexander, John Lieber, Marcus Stroman, Ted Lilly, and Parker Hodge. So
I don't mean to be rude,
But you don't know
But
who Ken Holtzman is.
no, but I love Shota Imanaga. Mark Pryor is getting this. That's just rude. Mark Pryor
Yes.
was amazing.
And I apologize. Vaughn is. This is probably the best name on here. Hippo Vaughn.
Yeah, that's just old school baseball. At $4, we got Root.
Yeah, Charlie Root. I mean, you talk about dog.
He was good. What, in the 40s?
Yeah, 30s and 40s, I think.
That's crazy.
Yes. Let me look exactly.
Well, I'll go first when you're looking.
Okay.
I'm going to start off
23 to 41.
with Jake Arrieta. Jake Arrieta was. Oh, wait. How much money do we get?
15.
Okay. Jake Arrieta, that year that he had in 15, maybe one of the greatest seasons anyone will ever have.
Hard to argue.
And then at the $4, I'm going Kerry Wood. Kerry Wood I love Kerry Wood. The 21 strikeouts, and I know he didn't win a World Series or anything, but they almost got there. They should have gotten there. 3, I'm going Zambrano. You got to have that fire on the team. Zambrano, I know he's crazy, but you got to have pitchers like that. They don't have pitchers like that anymore, which maybe is good because he destroyed the dugout. But
Yep.
at 2, I'm going Mark Pryor. That's a steal at $2.
That's hard to argue with, too.
And then at $1, I'm going to go Ted Lilly. Because I don't think Stroman should be there, and I don't think Hodge should be there just yet.
Fair enough. That is a really, really good list.
I'm really hoping Porter Hodge is amazing this year because he's going to be used a lot.
I will go. Let me start off with Greg Maddux, one of the most dominant pitchers of his decade. So I'll take him in the first one. I know he was probably more prominent with the Braves, but won his 300th with the Cubs, so that's big there. $4 row. Give me John Lester. I like a lefty in this rotation. Big game. Every time you think of John Lester, I feel like it's a playoff game. $3 row. I normally would take Zambrano here because I'm kind of the same as you, but I don't want to have the same. So go ahead and give me Justin Steele. I love Justin Steele.
He's as close to Carlos Zambrano with the energy that we've had in a long time.
Exactly. My $2 row, I'll take Dempster. I love Dempster when he was on the Cubs. You could always count on him. You could start him. You could bring him out of the bullpen.
He had a great career.
Very good career. And then for my $1 row, I like the fire, man. Give me Stroman. I know you don't think he belongs there, but I like the swag that he played with. I wish it would have been a little bit better tenure with the Cubs, but I still like Stroman, and I'm okay with taking that for $1.
Yeah, that John Lieber. I don't know what he's doing there.
Yeah, that's hard because those were some bad Cubs teams.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he was. I don't know.
Give me Steve Traxel over John Lieber.
Yeah,
that's a conversation no one wants to have.
No.
Let's move in. We got some recap to do. We have the Super Bowl on Sunday. The Philadelphia Eagles taking down the Kansas City Chiefs in a dominant fashion. It was so. Here's my take on this. I really, really enjoyed seeing the Chiefs fall and to get kicked in the teeth as hard as they did. Not that I wish anything good for Philly fans outside of my uncle and my cousins. It is nice to see someone new.
I understand that, and it was a bad game and whatever, but people got to slow down on the Patrick Mahomes isn't good or he's not a superstar. Yeah. He's made 5 Super Bowls in his career already.
And he's been in the NFL for like 8 years.
Yeah. It is crazy, though, that his plus minus is actually minus like 20 something in the 5 Super Bowls because
that's crazy.
The 2 that he's lost have been blowouts, but it was a bad game. The Eagles played a perfect game, but you can't sit here and actually say that Patrick Mahomes isn't the best quarterback in the NFL right now.
Yeah, you'd be a fool to not, if any team offered or was offered an opportunity to trade for Patrick Mahomes, every single team in the NFL would take it. Yes, he had it.
And,
He didn't play great,
one
but
team that could have had him, Chicago Bears. But
what did you think about the meme that said this is what Patrick Mahomes
that's
would have looked like
stupid.
if he was drafted by
Well,
the
if
Bears?
that's true, then that means the Bears would be in the Super Bowl. So
You'd take that, right?
I take losing in the Super Bowl. That's for sure. But I don't know. It was a bad game overall because it really didn't get. I mean, it came out to be what 40-22 or something, but
Yeah.
2 touchdowns late by the Chiefs that kind of made the score look a little bit better. But I just think that we over analyzed the game in a way, saying that Patrick Mahomes didn't play well. Dude, he's been to 5 Super Bowls in his career. He's gonna be to another Super Bowl at some point in his career. I think that the hate is kind of crazy.
I think I'm going to get my future in on the Chiefs for the Super Bowl next year because I think this one might have pissed them off a little bit.
Who would have thought? I think Saquon had what 40, 50 yards maybe.
Yeah.
And they won the
How
game.
many people lost money on the Saquon anytime touchdown scorer?
Yeah, I mean, great defensive game by the Eagles. Jalen Hurts played amazing, and they're Super Bowl champs, but it just wasn't a fun game to watch.
I think Philly fans would disagree with us.
Oh yeah,
Here's here's my question for you. Where does Jalen Hurts rank right now as far as NFL quarterbacks?
I'd say top 5 probably.
Yeah, the guy wins.
But like I wouldn't say he's better than Josh Allen just because he made it farther. I don't know. I just think that we overanalyze that a little bit too, because the reason that they got to that game was because of Saquon.
Yes, absolutely. I think saying top 5 because, like, I agree. I would take Mahomes. I would take Allen, and then you kind of get in that argument.
I take Lamar Jackson over him.
I was thinking 4 is where I kind of stand right now.
Guess what? He's got a Super Bowl MVP. He doesn't care.
Yep. Why should he?
Everyone has it always is like it's always after one of these games. It's got to be where are these guys ranked? But what does it matter after you just won the Super Bowl?
Yep. You think when he's going through that parade on Friday, he's going to care what
I don't
sports
understand
pundits
why they
have to say?
The Super Bowl MVP go to Disney World. I understand it's like what are you going to do now? I'm going to go to Disney World. How much would that suck? You just won the Super Bowl. Get on a private jet and go to Disney World.
I agree. That sounds. I don't get it. I know that's all promotional advertising stuff, but
I know they've been doing it for a long time. But I would be like, no, thank you.
I completely agree. So I know we're a year away from the next Super Bowl. Who do you got next year? Because I'm putting
Bears.
my money in on the Chiefs.
Bears.
Just flush your money down the toilet.
But it is crazy that the odds come out like right after the Super Bowl's done.
Oh, they were up by Monday morning.
That's crazy.
That is wild. Like I said, I had the Eagles in the over, so I was pretty happy about the outcome of the game.
Yeah, it was all right to watch.
A prop bet to save my life, but
my sinker should have been the score. Whatever that they did with that score at the bottom, stupid.
The score bug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why
that was
change
bad.
something in the biggest game of the year?
Completely agree. Completely. Yeah, you can't throw people off.
Last year, I think Fox has it for like 5 years.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right.
Yeah, Tom Brady wasn't bad.
No, I'm over Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Let's wrap things up, Zach. As always, we've got the TCF top 3, and we're going to do Chicago uniforms. So this could be any Chicago uniform. Doesn't matter the team. We're just keeping it professional teams. We won't include the Chicago State Cougars, and this could be any iteration. I'm going to go first, and I'm going to go with the Bulls pinstripe black uniforms.
I like that. There's
I
nothing
think
cooler than that.
and especially in the 90s when they had the red pinstripes with
It's
the classic uniform.
It's a lot cooler when they're good.
That is very true.
I'm gonna go with the Cubs white pinstripes.
Do you like those more than the blues?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not a fan
I
of the
think I'd
blue.
lean blue. Fair enough. I think the white pinstripe is just classic.
I know this is gonna sound crazy, but I'm already going with this year's Cubs Connect
Damn
jerseys.
it.
Those are
I did not think you were going to
some
take
of the
that.
best jerseys I've ever seen. For
I
them
did not think.
and they're so smart too, because then they got hats with them, and then they're gonna make so much money off of those jerseys.
Oh, I've been hawking my my Chinese jersey websites already,
Especially
trying to
because they
get
got
my hands
Kyle
on one.
Tucker, and maybe they'll have Bregman. I mean, they're gonna sell a lot of money worth of jerseys.
So many uniforms. My second round pick, I probably should diversify it a little bit because they don't wear these very much anymore. But I'm going to go with the Blackhawks alternate blacks.
Oh, that's a good one.
I think those are there's something about black uniforms that I just love. I think those are their best one. And that's not to shoot anything down with, the standard whites or the standard reds. Those are classic. And my final pick, I should just take a Bears jersey to tick you off. All right, I will say this. The White Sox, I'm going to go all black. The White Sox away black uniforms.
Those are cool.
And if I could take anything specifically White Sox, it would be like the early 2000s sleeveless home white pinstripes.
I'm gonna give the Bears some love, and I'm going the orange jerseys.
See, and that's so funny because 2 years ago you would have never said that.
No, but I love them now. I don't know why.
Now in this,
They have
do
to
you
go
have to?
all orange, orange
Do
helmets,
you want the orange
band,
helmet?
everything.
I liked, as a Packers fan, I still like the orange on orange. That's a good look.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. But you do it once a year. You don't do it any
Yep.
more than once a year. It's a special jersey.
What else you got? I think there's something to be said about the Chicago Sky light blue uniforms.
I like the red Blackhawks jerseys.
Those are classic. I think all of the Blackhawks and are just almost perfect.
The Sammy Sosa blues are not bad,
but they have to include the blue hat with the red bill. They've got to bring the red bill back.
Yeah, but they got to buttoned all the way up.
Yep, and there's a million, alternates and throwbacks. But I was trying to keep it, just the main ones.
Trying to think of some more.
Gun to my head, couldn't tell you what the Chicago Fire's jersey looked like.
No.
Nothing. We'll have to do alternates here in the football offseason because remember the Cubs had that year, 2014, the 100-year anniversary of Wrigley Field, and they had like 10 different uniforms.
Yeah. I think the Cubs this year, those Connect jerseys are going to be a hit.
I completely agree. Let us know what your guys' top 3 would be. And that's going to be it for us. It was episode 249. Make sure you follow us on X at @typical_Chicago, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Give us a follow on all of those. Subscribe on YouTube for all the content in video form. Subscribe, rate, review 5 stars wherever you get your podcast. And tell a friend about it this week. Tell them to check it out. Tell them to follow us on TikTok too. Make sure you find me on X at BoomyTCF, and of course Zach at Lilia TCF. That was episode 249 of Typical Chicago Fans. We love you all.
Peace.